Shalom, everyone. We're reading Haftarah Eqev, which is Isaiah 49 to the beginning of 51. If you want to raise your hand or draw on the screen, here's how you do it. Who would like to read first? Eileen, do you want to read the first one?
Sure.
All right, go ahead.
Vatomer Zion mm, Ya Yatseben
Yeah, but it's an ayin and not a y sound, so it's azavani.
Atzavani
Okay?
Adonai uh, Badoni
Vadonai.
Badonai Shem no She mm, She Shechani
Yeah. Shechechani.
Ni
Shechechani.
Shechani
That's it. From from what's the root? Can you tell what the root of the word is?
Shechen
It's got shachach, uh, hmm, ironically, to forget. And there's an ani suffix at the end, refers back to first person common singular me. So shachach would be something like to forget, and ani, he has forgotten me, and there is no me right here, so I should fill that in. My Lord has forgotten me. Who's saying this? Vatomer Zion Azavani Adonai. Who said it?
Zion
Zion, exactly. So Zion is referring to a location. In Hebrew, locations are feminine. So feminine singular matches up with a vayiktol tav prefix, which is third feminine singular. So they agree in gender number from the root amar to speak. And she said, or but she said, who did? Zion. And here's the quote: Azavani Yod He Vav He Adonai. What is azav? To leave,
to leave
forsake. Yeah, to depart or abandon, even. And then we have another ani at the end, which again refers to first common singular me. If
leave
someone
me.
does something to me, it'll have the ani suffix. But there's a different suffix, which is just a chirik yod, which is also first person common singular. It's a simple chirik yod. Like if I have a sus, I would say susi, and that chirik yod tells me that it belongs to me, right? Actually, I should have done that differently. Let me try it this way. Oh, no, come back, come back. There we go. Now switch to a different color. So we've got the sus, which is the noun, and then the e is your first common singular, saying that it belongs to me.
My
It's
horse.
my sus. It's my horse. Very good. But if there's a verb like this one, zav, and I'm going to spell it like this because that's how it's spelled when you shift the stress. But then you have that suffix ani on the end. It's still first common singular. It's just that this one shows up on verbs. The verbal first common singular. So someone did something to me. Well, what did they do? They azav. They abandoned
And
or left me. Now, I could put the me right there, but it doesn't make sense. Me abandoned. No. Abandoned me. Sounds better in English.
yeah.
So Zion has said, the Lord has forsaken me, either the Lord or my Lord. See how they put a my right there? If there were a patach here, that would definitely be my Lord with a kamatz. Well, that's how Adonai is usually spelled. So either one is fine. Either Lord or my Lord. Shechechani, he has forgotten me. She said. Okay, questions on this? Who would like to read the next one? Annie, do you want to read?
Yeah, I
All right,
can.
go ahead.
Yeah. Hati Hatishkach Isha Ulai Merachem
Do
Ben.
do you
Oh,
want excuse me, do you want me to interrupt if there's something that maybe you could read if there's a little mistake somewhere, or do you want me to
oh
wait
yeah,
till the end?
yeah.
All right, well then start over right here.
Ulai
Mm.
Ula
Ulah, very good. Ulah, that's a consonantal hey at the end. Ulah. All right, keep going.
Ula. Yeah. Merachem Ben Bitna Gam Gam Ele Tishkachana Va'anochi Lo Eshkachech.
Excellent. Hatishkach isha ulah merachem ben bitnach gam ele tishkachna va'anochi lo eshkachech. All right. So it's using the same root once in the previous verse and now three times in this verse. Which one is it using three times? What word?
Shachach.
Yeah, exactly. Shachach, shachach, and shachach, having to do with forgetting. So the first one, Zion saying, "Oh, my Lord," or "The Lord has forgotten me." And so God responds with this question with another question. How do I know it's a question?
It's interrogative. Hey.
Interrogative, hey.
Starts with the interrogative, so we can kind of peel that away. And what are we left with? Tishkach. That's a yiktol in incompleted form. What does the tav mean in a yiktol?
Second masculine singular.
Singular.
It does, but it also can be one other thing.
3fs.
Good. Since we're talking about Zion here, since we're talking about Zion, it's not you, a man, that I'm speaking to. It's actually, I'm talking about her, an Isha. Here's my 3FS subject.
Mm.
And the question is, can she forget who? A woman. Can a woman forget? Ulah. What is the ah suffix?
Mm.
Predominant
Uh,
suffix.
Her.
Hers.
Feminine
Exactly.
singular.
Her. And then ul is a young child, an infant. Can a woman forget her infant? I don't know about you, but I know my wife. No, absolutely not. And then there is a pause, a little bit of a pause right here because of this cantillation mark. And then it goes, Me rachem ben bitnach. All right, what is me rachem?
Mm.
That's two parts.
Maybe. Oh, maybe preposition mean.
Good.
Uh, uh, um,
And then rachem, that is, okay, so it's kind of hard to tell just because there's no dagesh in the chet, and there won't be, the guttural. But with a patach here and a dagesh
Mercy.
there, now you should be able to figure out what it is.
Mercy.
Good. Rachem is compassion, mercy. But what about the form of the word? There's a what form has a patach under the first root letter and a dagesh under the second root letter, or in the second root letter? Here, I'll give you another example.
oh, the bear. So it's a PL imperative.
Okay, so I tricked you a little bit. It is a PL, but there are other words that fit this pattern besides just the imperative. This one I put an exclamation mark right there, so that one seems to be an imperative. What else has the same pattern? Suppose I didn't put this here, and now it's not an imperative. It's still a PL. What else could it be? think about what you said earlier. There's a preposition attached to it.
Yeah. Um,
Which form has anybody know? What verbal form can have a preposition at the front of it?
Participle.
Definitive construct.
Participle, maybe?
Not part of, well, okay, technically it could, but the
Infinitive, right?
infinitive is what I was looking for. Yeah. So you can have le or ba or ka or mean at the front of an infinitive construct. And so we've got this idea of from, okay, so it's a continuation of the first thought. Can a woman forget her young child? Merachem, from or preventing to give compassion.
Mhm.
Ben Bitnah, the son of her Beten, the son of her womb. So it's basically asking the same question twice using different words. And hopefully the obvious answer here is no. And then we kind of see God pushing the envelope a little bit farther. He says, Gam ele tishkachna. Okay, what is tishkachna? We know what shachach is, but what about the tav and the na?
Mm, I think it's a 2FP or 3FP suffix.
Correct. It's a 2 or 3 FP. I wouldn't use the word suffix because there's a tav at the front. It's a yiktol form, right? Tav, yiktol, prefix, na, suffix. The point is it's a yiktol. It's either 2 or 3 FP yiktol. So either you all or they ladies forget gam ele. What's ele? These ones, right?
Mhm.
This would be something like yea though, or even though they forget or would forget. Va'anochi lo eshkachech. All right. Would this be a good time to translate va as and, like he did, like this translator did? I would say no, because the first sentence over here says, even though they might forget, and then he contrasts it with, I will not forget you.
But
Yeah, exactly. If you see a contrast, then translate it as however, but even something showing contrast. So, and maybe that's where they're using the yet right here. And yet will I not forget. There's the aleph, I will, shachach, forget,
Yeah.
you, with a big fat low in front of it. I will not forget you. Fascinating. Questions on this verse? Anyone?
Yes. What is the ah on Tishkachna? What is the
Okay, so the Yiktol form has tav on the front and na on the end. That's the standard.
nah? Got
Right.
it.
hmm
Sorry.
No, it's perfectly fine. Any other questions on this? All right, who wants to read next?
I'll read.
All right, excellent. Go ahead, Tuesday.
Hein al kapaim hakoti homo ta'ich negdi tamid.
This is terse. This is packed. All right, and this is also Isaiah. It's very difficult to understand Isaiah sometimes. So if somebody didn't get everything, cool. There's lots of us that don't. And hen al kapayim hakotich chomotayich negdi tamid. Where's the halfway point of this verse?
Hakot.
Yeah, look for that symbol right there, and you'll know you've reached the logical halfway point. And and because it's Isaiah prophetic, we expect there to be some element of poetry and repetition, and I think that's exactly what's happening here. Hen al kapayim Hakotich. All right. I'm trying to figure out where to start. Oh, let's start with the easy stuff. Kapayim. What is the absolute form of the word kapayim? If you looked it up in a dictionary, what would you look up?
Kaf.
So what's the ayim doing at the end? Or what's the dagesh doing in the pay if the absolute form is kaf?
It's the doubling form, like for two of them.
Well,
Have two.
Two of what?
The palms of your hands. Your hand.
Oh, yeah, right. So the ayim is the dual plural.
Duo, that
So-
was the word I was looking for.
Exactly. So in English, we have singular and we have plural, right? There's one or two or more. In Hebrew, we also have a dual that is only and exactly two. So this is our singular, this is our dual, and this is our plural. Singular forms will either have no suffix whatsoever, especially if it's masculine, or it will have hey or a tav if it's feminine, right? Masculine, feminine. There we go, feminine. If it's plural, usually the masculine will have what ending?
Im,
Right?
if it's
It'll have an
masculine.
Yeah, there are exceptions, but usually im is plural, and the feminine plural would usually be
Ot.
ot. Exactly. The dual used to have two different forms, but by the time we get to biblical Hebrew, it's long gone. Basically, ayim is used for both of them. So whether it's hands, which are feminine, or whether it's trying to think of a masculine off the
I
top of
know,
my head.
it's hard. Wait, there's one, but like
Well, I guess
Shadaim is masculine. I
right,
think you
it is. It is, but I'm trying to think of something like Machanayim. Remember when Jacob goes back to the land of Israel and he's two camps, he calls it Machanayim. The Bible tells us that Machane is masculine, but there are some places where it actually does show up feminine, but let's think of some other one. Oh, Yomayim, 2 days, or
Chodshayim.
Hodshayim, or Shvuayim.
Shadaim.
Exactly. So what is Yomayim? Anyone? What is a Yom?
Day.
Day,
And so Yomayim would be
Day,
days,
2 days.
days,
Exactly. What if it's more than 2 days? Well, then I have to go to the full-fledged plural, which in Hebrew is irregular. It becomes yamim. But anyway, it has that. It's irregular because of the first half, not because of the suffix. It has an im. It is plural, so it's usually going to be more than two. What is shvuayim? Well, what is a shavua?
week,
A week. So shvuayim would be
2 weeks.
if kaf is the palm of a hand, then what are kapayim?
2 hands.
2 hands or 2 palms, really. Or you could say yadayim, 2 hands, ktafayim, 2 shoulders, zoayim, 2 arms, raglayim, 2 legs. So that ayim is dual. Now
I
let's
just-
go. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought of something like shin is tooth, right? So shinaim would be 2 teeth, but
Yeah.
we have more than 2 teeth.
Very
Just a
good.
thought.
Very good. And that goes also with what else? I'm trying to remember the word for no, etzbaot. Okay, that's not, yeah, that one doesn't work. Oh, okay. So what if you're talking about a whole crowd full of people and you're talking about all of their legs?
Mhm.
That
It's
should
2
be
legs.
raglim,
Yeah.
according to what we've taught here. The only problem is that there are certain words, especially body parts, that have taken the dual form as the standard plural form. And so shinayim would be a good example of that.
Spatayim too, like lips, everybody's
Well,
lips.
yeah, but sure, but that one's a little harder to prove because everybody has 2 lips. So I could say each and every person's 2 lips,
Mhm.
Or
Oh,
am I saying I've got a bag full of lips? I don't know why I would have a bag full of lips, but I'm just saying hypothetically. And
oh,
the raglaim is probably going to be a little bit easier to talk about. And it's not, you would expect the plural to be raglim. I want all of the men's legs washed off before we go into this, holy place or something. I don't know. Would you say raglim or raglaim? Well, you would think it's raglim, but unfortunately, by the time we get to biblical Hebrew, raglaim is the standard form for the plural. So this is now two or more. And there are certain words where this is kind of frozen as the standard plural form. So shinayim would be one of them. Yeah.
mhm.
Karnayim. There are certain animals that have more than two horns, but you're still going to call it karnayim. Keren is a horn. Karnayim. Oops. Karnayim. There we go. Would be more than one. It would either be two horns or more than that. All right. So now let's go to the real kicker. Chakotich. What is happening in this word? Somebody please talk to me. Console me with this complicated word. What's happening here? Can you tell me the root, the binyan, maybe various parts to the word, form?
I think did some looking with it. It's chakak would be the root.
Jump to the hardest part first. That's awesome. Okay.
So it's a doubling, yeah.
So there's a strong dagesh in the kuf, which signifies that the root has a missing and doubled letter, hakak. And what about the rest of it?
What hakoti hakot? I don't know. It's pausal, so that might change something.
I'm afraid not. It would be the same way even if it weren't in the pausal.
That's too bad.
Okay, what is at the end?
You,
You who?
you masculine
Yoo-hoo.
guy. You.
You said masculine, but I don't think you meant it.
Oh, so I guess it's feminine.
Right. So cha would be masculine, or something like that would be feminine. We don't have a preceding vowel because there's already a preceding vowel. What is that section for?
It's a direct object.
No, I'm sorry. I'm now moving on to the next part, the
Oh.
T.
The
Is it
That's
I?
the katal
Uh-huh.
suffix.
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
katal, one CS, I
First
did something.
singular.
So it's two things.
Two things. So here's your root, chet kuf kuf, the katal suffix I did it, and then says I did it to you, feminine singular, which from the previous verse's context is probably referring back to Zion, Zion,
Mhm.
the feminine singular.
Feminine, yeah.
Yep. So the only weird, well, say the two weird things that are happening is we're missing a root letter in a strong dagesh, but even weirder is an O vowel.
That's what I wondered.
What is going on with that O vowel? Well, I hate to disappoint you. It's just a connecting vowel. It's a connecting vowel that shows up in two categories of words. Either those words that, I say words, in two categories of roots, verbal roots. Either the ones that have gemination, meaning that the second and third root letters are the same. I'll put 2 equals 3 here to try to signify it. That's the first one. Or it could also occur in hollow roots. Hollow roots is when you get either a yod or a vav in the second root letter.
So
So shuv, like that. It will show up. This one in particular will show up in like hifil. If I cause someone to sit and dwell, no, shuv, that's return. If I cause someone to return, then that will be in the he feel. I'll have a hey, then have my root with a missing vav because it's weak. It will be ha, she, vo,
Voti.
ti. And that's nothing more than a connecting vowel. This connecting vowel that appears there and there only appears in Hebrew.
Hmm.
And I have done lots of research to try to figure out how it developed. And it honestly, it could have been that there was some sort of, look, I don't know. I'm just speculating. If it were a long vowel like that, hashivati of some kind, it's possible that it turned into an O sound based on the Canaanite shift. But in other Semitic languages, there's no vowel there. So where did it come from? I don't know. Somebody messed it up somewhere, and now we've got these O's floating around in these two verbal, weak root verbal forms. It's just a connecting vowel, and you can use all of the other information surrounding it to try to figure out what kind of a verb it is. Like, for example, nobody said what binyan this is, did you? What binyan is it? We know it's a katal. We know there's a suffix. We know it's chet kuf kuf, but what binyan is it? It doesn't match any of the
Chakak.
patterns. Which one?
Chakak. If the kuf is missing, it would probably be a call. Chakak.
Good, good. So this, okay, I see how what I'm
Okay.
about to say is going to be difficult to digest. There's a patach and a strong dagesh, right?
Yeah.
But is this
Yeah.
strong dagesh? Well, see, that's exactly what I thought someone would jump on. You see a patach and a strong dagesh. No, not in katal. In katal, that would be a chirik and a strong dagesh, like di bear or di barti. So that chirik is what we should expect, not a patach.
Pika. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so if it's not
Back it to the cow.
okay, so now let's go back to Kal. This is going to be hopefully a little fun. And let me clear a little room right here. Who here is frustrated with vowels changing and you don't know why? You know how when you see a Hebrew word, you're like, what? It was a kamatz a second ago. Now it's a shva. Oh, look, in this form, it shows up as a patach. What's going on here? Something that I have found very helpful is that in the most ancient forms of Semitic languages, if you had an original short vowel, then depending on the factors surrounding it, it can either go long or completely reduce to a schwa. If, for example, it's too far away from the stress, it will go all the way to a schwa. If it's right next door to the stressed, or if it is stressed, or if there's an aleph, then it can lengthen to a long vowel. So if you're on short, it can either go up one or go down one, depending on the context. But if you have an originally long vowel, it can only reduce in certain situations to a short vowel. It will never completely disappear to a schwa.
Say that again, please, that last sentence.
Mhm.
If
If, on the other hand, the original vowel in the most ancient Semitic language, Proto-Semitic, was an original long vowel, then it could, in certain cases, go short, but it will never disappear altogether. So I present, for example, the example Yakum. This vowel arises from a long vowel. Well, I shouldn't say it like that. No, I shouldn't say it like that. Let me use a different example because that's actually because of a weak letter. Let's use the word Shalom, which in Aramaic would be sha. No, that would be shalom. It would be shlam, like this. There we go. All right. So in Hebrew, I'll put an H there and an A here for Aramaic. Hebrew, Aramaic. Okay. Shalom has this long O vowel, which originally was was a long kamatz. It was a long ah vowel. It will never, ever, ever disappear. Suppose you add a suffix onto the word. His shalom. Is it all of a sudden going to become shalmo? No, it will be shlomo. The vowel stays. At the very worst, you could hyphenate this or makafit onto the next word, like the peace of God, El. And this would become a kamatz katan, but it would not ever disappear. So if you have an original long vowel, it can go short. For example, here, shlom, and that, of course, is a long vowel too far from the stress, so it goes to there. Shlom El would be the peace of God, the peace and safety of God. But it will never drop to a shva. Well, wait a second. This one dropped to a shva. Go back to rule one. If something can be either long or short, then what was it originally? If it could be either long, short, or reduced, then what was it originally? It was an original short vowel. And let me see if I can give you a better example. Azav. What does azav mean?
Help.
That's azar.
Abandon.
Oh, leave.
To leave or abandon. Very good. So azav, he abandoned. And azav, azavo, I now switch the stress over to here. What happens to this vowel?
Bah.
Mm-mm,
Reduces.
mm-mm. Nope. It's right next door to the stress.
Oh,
Shiva.
it's long.
There you go. And what
Yeah,
happens to this one now that it's far away from the stress?
that reduces.
That one reduces. All right. So what you just saw
Yeah.
is how this vowel was a patach and it has now become a kamatz.
Mhm.
This one was a kamatz that has become a reduced vowel.
Mhm.
Now I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you a different word. What about azvu? So take the original word azav, add an oo to the end to say they did it. What happens to this one?
Reduced to shva.
Okay, so here it reduces to shva. Why didn't it do it earlier? Probably for reasons that are above our head. But this one does reduce to a shva, azvu.
Mhm.
There we go. And just to make sure we're not looking at a kamatz katan, I'll put a little meteg right there, azavu. All right. Now, is there ever going to be a place where this is a patach? I don't know. I can't think of a good example without switching to a different form. So I'm going to say no. Okay, so the point is that if we're looking at the original so-called katal form, I'll write it in Hebrew. If I know this vowel can either be a long vowel or reduced, then what length was it originally?
Long.
You misunderstand the original rule. Short vowels can either lengthen or reduce. Original long vowels can only become short vowels.
Okay.
So if this one could be either this or that, then it means the original was a
Short.
if this vowel can be kamatz, patach, or shva, then it means that the original was also,
Also short.
yeah. So if it can show up as long reduced or long short reduced, then it must have originally been short. There's your original form of the verb. But since Hebrew likes open syllables to have long vowels, it lengthens that for pronunciation's sake. But the original form is a patach, and that helps explain why sometimes it's this and sometimes it's that. Or this one over here, why it's sometimes this, and sometimes this. Depends on the surrounding context, the surrounding vowels. Anyway, so I don't know if that helps at all. I find it fascinating with words like infinitive constructs, since we just talked about an infinitive construct on the previous slide, wasn't it? And what's the infinitive construct to guard?
More.
Keep or guard?
Shimor.
Good. So shmor, or if you wanted to, lishmor, but we don't need that. And this one is reduced. This one is long. How do you say his act of guarding? It's still an infinitive construct, but now you're just adding a suffix o to the end of it. Okay, so there's your shin, mem, resh. The problem is that shmor has the accent on the mem. Over here, it shifts. And that's going to cause all kinds of problems, right?
Shomro. Shomro. Do they give it a kamatz katan?
Right. So this turns into a reduced shva. This one becomes kamatz katan, shomro. What? So what was the original form of an infinitive construct? Well, let's take I'll try to spell it back. Well, I'm trying to figure out how to do it so that it's right to left instead of left to right. So let's put root letter 1, root letter 2, root letter 3. The first root letter can take either a schwa or a short vowel. So that means it was originally a short or long. Remember,
Long.
if it was originally short, then that means it could go up or down. And if it was originally long, then that means it can only go down.
But
So
then it's long.
there, yeah. If you see it's reduced, if you see both a short and a reduced, that means the original was a short.
You have to remember that a kamatz katan is a short vowel.
Yeah, kamaskatan is a short vowel. Yeah, so that means we expect a short vowel under the first root letter. Now, the second root letter has a long cholam, and it has a reduced shva. So what was its original length? Same. If it shows up as long or reduced, well, short vowel is the only one that can do that. You can't have an original long vowel going all the way to reduced. So it's got to be short as well. So we're looking for a pattern that has two short vowels under it. What flavor vowels are they? Well, we can't tell anything about a shva, but we can tell something about a kamatz katan. What flavor is a kamatz katan? What timbre? What
Oh,
Okay, good. So it's an O vowel. The problem is that O vowels originally came from there are only three original
ooh,
vowels.
ooh.
So O comes from U. This was an original U vowel, short U. And what about this one here? Well, we see a cholam and a shva. Shva doesn't tell us anything. What about cholam? Again, O, which comes from,
Ooh.
there you go. So the original pattern is U, or if you would prefer to use the kuf tet lamed as arbitrary root letters, it is kutul. Kutul. That's the pattern. The original Semitic the original, how do I say this? The original Proto-Semitic pattern of infinitive constructs would have been kutul. And that helps explain why because short vowels can either lengthen or reduce. That explains why sometimes it's a schwa, sometimes it's a short vowel, sometimes it's a long vowel, sometimes it's a reduced vowel. Because short vowels can go up or down, but those long vowels can't. So let's look at a long vowel. It's hard to find. Oh, that's a good one. How about karev? Karev. What does karev mean?
To draw near.
Good.
Draw near.
It could be to draw near, but I think a better way to explain it would be to be near, to be close. I realize there are translations that say to draw near, and that's fine. The reason I say to be near is because of the pattern. This pattern is usually for state of being or stative verbs. It just tells you what you are, not what you are doing. I am hungry. I am lacking. I am close. So it's one of those. Karev, this has a long vowel and a long vowel. Good so far?
Mhm.
Okay, good. What about what if I said they were close? What would the word be?
Arvul.
We would need
Oh,
we would need oo on the end. Good. And what do I do with these vowels here?
Shva under the resh.
Shva.
Shva under the resh?
Yeah. Oh, you can't.
Why not? That's what we did last time, right? Shamaru. Why can't we do it here? Well, because it doesn't show up in the Bible. It actually reduces this one and not that one. Kreu. So this one was long and now it's reduced. So that tells me that it has an original short vowel. This one is still long. Well, are there any examples where this vowel changes? Yes. No. Rish. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember what it is. Yirish. That's what it is. Okay, so there's a stative verb yarash, which means to possess, or yaresh, I guess, and it shows up as yirishta. No, yirishta. Here we go. Yirishta. Okay, this is a katal form. So what is the on the end?
Suffix.
Suffix.
3F.
Very good. 3fs her. What is the ta katal suffix?
To
Second
Eme.
masculine singular.
To a katal, you will. And what did this become? A cute little chirik. So that means what I'm trying to show you is that in this state of being verb, the tsere did reduce to a chirik. The problem is, though, that you will never see it reduce all the way to a shva. So it shows up as long and short, but nothing else. So what was it originally? Had to be an original long vowel. So this would have been a ka, short vowel. Til, I'll just go ahead and put hirik yod to show you that it's long. We could put a tsere there if you want, but originally there was only a, e, and u, so I'm picking e. So this is a short a, this is a long e. Katil pattern is the Proto-Semitic state of being verb. There are also katol patterns, like yachol. What is yachol?
Be able.
Yeah. Yachol. Here we've got a long vowel and a long vowel. Kamatz, ah, and cholam, o. If I was able, what does the word become? It's actually not a hard question. Nothing changes. Well, yes, it does.
T.
You add the T to the end. Now, this is too far from the stress, so it
Shortened.
Yeah.
shortens. So this can drop all the way to a reduced. That automatically tells you the first root letter, the first root letter's vowel must have been a short one. Whatever it was short. The second one is still long because yecholti, it's under stress, so it can stay just like that. But as soon as you add a suffix like yecholtiv, like I was able or capable, or I was able to overcome him, now the stress shifts over here. What happens to cholam in a closed syllable?
Cheval. Kamatz
Because
Katan.
Kamatz Katan.
Katan. Very good. So this drops to a kamatz katan, but it does not disappear. It drops to a short vowel. That tells you that it was
Long.
originally long. So this had a short vowel, this had a long vowel. What was the original pattern of this state of being verb? You can do it. You got this. This one is short, this one is long. And we're trying to match up the word.
It would be a short long.
Very good. It is a short long, but now I'm asking what timbre of vowels go here and here.
Oh,
Here you've got this and that. So what timbre vowel would this be?
it would be patach.
Good. And this one you have kamatz katan holam. So what timbre vowel is this?
You're gonna have a a chirik. No, a cholam somewhere.
But holam came from
Ooh.
ooh. There you go. So here's your original stative verb pattern katul.
Katul.
All right. So I don't know if that helped bring any clarity or if it just complicated thing, but the point is that if you ever see vowels that are both long and reduced, it means it was an original short vowel and it can show up all three ways, long, short, or reduced. But if it's a historically long vowel, like the Hirik Yod and he feel, why didn't I think of that one? Hishkim. There we go, like Hishkim. Will you ever see this vowel? Granted, it can reduce to a short vowel or whatever, but will you ever see it completely disappear as a schwa?
No.
No.
No matter
No.
what you do, it will always remain. That, my friends, is a historically long vowel, and it will only go to, ooh, there's a good exercise. Can you all think of any reason that chirik yod, long chirik yod, would drop to a short vowel?
Occupation.
That's a decent answer, but it's wrong because in apocompation, it will still be a long vowel tsere, even though it apocrypated the yod. So my question is, when will it turn into either a chirik or a segol, a short vowel, a short EI vowel?
In construct?
Okay, yeah, in construct. If you have this in construct with another word, it now loses its stress. It has to become shorter, either a segol or a chirik. That's right. Excellent. Perfect answer. And I was thinking about maybe, what about a Vayiktol? Do we ever get to see a Vayiktol where yes, we do. Yes, we do. Vaya. Okay.
Why?
Okay. It's not a great example, but please bear with me. Vayake. It's a doubly irregular verb.
Mm.
All right.
Facing a noon.
Okay, first things first, let's clear up a little bit of room, shall we? Getting a little crowded over here. And what form is the word via is the verb vayake? No, no, no. Oh, I did it wrong. Ha. Um vaya vi See, now I'm doubling. I'm
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
starting to doubt myself. Dang it. Vaya, vaya. Oh, uh, vayake, vayake.
That
Okay.
could be a Vayiktal or a Vekatol. No, depending on what you.
Good.
Mm.
Yeah, okay. Maybe this isn't a good example for what I was trying to think of where he feel would have a segol or a chirik, and honestly, it's it's not a good example. So anyway, it's a vayiktal. How can I tell it's a vayiktal?
Vav Patach Dagesh. Yeah.
Right, vav patach dagesh, and because it's a vayiktal, what is the following yod?
Uh, Vayike-
Yod
oh,
with the Yikto.
It has to be the yud prefix yiktal prefix yod. So it's 3ms. Good. What is the vowel hey at the end usually indicative of? A missing root letter?
Yod.
It's a
Yod.
missing yod. Good. So the root letter yod is missing.
Mhm.
And what is the strong dagesh in the kaf?
That's the noon.
Shows a missing nun. The root is nun kaf yod. We never get to see the nun. I think occasionally we get to see the yod. Um, but this verb only shows up, I believe, in uh-oh, now I'm not sure. It shows up primarily in he feel. All right.
Lehakot.
Lehakot. Very good. Lehakot.
And you don't see, you say that the noon doesn't show up anywhere?
I can't think of anywhere that it shows up.
Niketi. Hmm.
Yeah. All right. And Hamotai. Ooh, we were talking about Hamotai. No, that's a different one. What are Homot?
Walls.
Walls. Even though the stress is way over here, this is still an O. What does that tell you about the original vowel? That it was short or long?
It's, could be short.
Long.
Oh, long because it stayed long.
Because it stayed long. Very good. So that's what you call a historic long or unchanging vowel. Both of those refer to the same thing. If you know, when we learned about construct forms, we talked about how kamatz and tsere are the two primary vowels that will reduce, right? Either to a patach or sometimes a segol or sometimes even a chirik, and that if it's in an open syllable, that it will reduce all the way down to a schwa. Here's the word davar. If I want to say davar of, the word of God, this is in an open syllable that is now too far from the stress. It will drop all the way to a schwa. This one is in a closed and now unaccented syllable, so it will drop to a short vowel. So instead of davar el, it becomes var el, right?
Mhm.
But did you notice how they never talk about how chirik yod or holam or shuruk ever go down in size? It's only these two vowels that we talk about reducing in a construct form.
Hmm.
Why? These other long vowels don't reduce?
Their original longs.
I thought the Matil Lexion vowels can't read. They're unchanging.
That's correct.
What was the answer?
Well, hang on a second. I hear what you're saying, You know what? I just found an exception. Tuesday, I just found an exception. What is this word?
Mishpacha.
Mishpacha.
Mishpacha. And how do you say family of, or no, better yet, how do you say his family?
Mishpachto.
What? You mean to tell me that mishpacha, which has a kamate mater letter at the end, becomes mishpach
To.
oh,
Mhm.
went all the way to a shva. So was it an original long or an original short?
Short.
And in fact, that's the form that shows up when we put it in construct form. If I want to talk about my family, my last name is Seltzer. So if I want to talk about the Seltzer family, it would be mishpachat
Seltzer.
Seltzer. There's your short vowel, which can either lengthen in the absolute form or disappear in the suffixed form. So I guess
Can
that's,
you,
yeah,
can you write the original one again?
yeah. The original one was mishpacha. And the only reason I thought of it is because it does have a mater. But I wonder if it
Oh,
would be the
kamate.
kamate at the end. I probably should have started with that. Sorry. The kamate at the end is a mater. But if you're talking about a medial yod or vav, like a medial hirik yod or holam vav, then I think you might be onto something. And in fact, a medial u seems like all three of these were originally long vowels, so therefore they're unchanging, and they can turn into short vowels, chirik, kamatz katan, shuruk, or not kibbutz or kamatz katan, because remember those were originally the same vowel. So these three can become short, but these can reduce all the way to shva. All right, I like that. So I'm trying to think of some word where a yod in the middle or a vav in the middle. The only one I can come up with is like sim. What is sim?
Put.
To put or place. And what about
Bayasem.
you're already beating me to it. Okay, so yasim, what is yasim?
He will put.
He will put, and then we take a vayiktol form and it becomes
Bayasem.
vayasem.
Bayasem.
And there we get to see long vowel going short, but it's not disappearing. And the original example that I wanted to give was kum. In the same way, yakum, he will arise. Va ya
Home.
pom turns into a short kamatz katan.
Okay.
Now, the reason I hesitated to give this example first is because it was originally a double, or actually triple, a triphthong, a triple vowel, and yak, uh, yuck. It would have been like yak wa no yak womb. That's what it is. It would have originally been something like yak womb. All of your yiktol forms come from an original yak tul or yik tal pattern, one or the other. This one is a yak tul. Yak womb is what you would have expected, but that sounds like I have a speech impediment, doesn't it? Yak womb. Well, that vav, which was originally W, and the U sound naturally collapse together to perform to create a strong, unchanging vowel that will always be there and will never reduce to schwa. So when it does that, now the kuf is being borrowed for the beginning of that syllable, and now ya is hanging out by himself. What happens to open syllables? They get long vowels. Ya, kum. Okay, if this was short and it went to long, that means it was originally a short. And if this one, ooh, that's a good question. Can the vowel in a yiktol or a yaktul, can it ever drop to a schwa? Can you think of any yiktol form where that second vowel drops all the way to schwa?
Second vowel, you mean under the root?
Between the second and third root letters.
Ooh, okay.
How about this one?
Mm.
Tulu, yiktulu, skip to melu.
Yeah. So it dropped all the way to schwa. So does that mean that this second vowel, this U vowel, was originally an unchanging long vowel, or that it was a short vowel? Good.
Mm. Can I have ask
Yeah,
a question
of
before I
course.
lose this? That book, Josberger, the basic Hebrew, goes quite a bit into this. Is it in agreement with what you're saying? Is
It
that a
is.
good book to read to get this? To
Okay,
get it?
so I would say yes and no. So what really turned me on to this was in fact the book that you recommended, the one that you just said, the Kutz and Yosberg,
Josberger. Yeah.
but they don't go nearly as deep as I wish they would. And
Yeah.
that's where I've been hanging up on that book that I recommended to you, Intermediate Biblical Hebrew by Eric Raymond. Oh my gosh, he is just amazing going into detail like this. He focuses a lot on the morphology of the original morphology of words.
So does he take what Josberger's and Coots
No,
say and
no,
expand on it?
no, the opposite.
Oh boy.
I'm not saying that Kutz and Josberger took from Eric, but they both pull from an original source. Uh, Ultimately, I looked through the references that they listed in the back of the book, Josberger, and they didn't actually read Eric's book, but they did read other stuff that Eric used in his book. So I mean, oh, here we go. So they used, look at the really, there it is on page 457 of Learning Biblical Hebrew by Carl Kutz and Rebecca Josberger. On page 457, it shows all of the works cited. And, there's a lot of interesting ones in there, a lot of ones you would expect. But then the studies on original forms of words are pretty much like the essays. Where was it? Select research, Hebrew lexicons, Hebrew accordance, collect text. Here it is. An eclectic edition with introduction to textual commentary. Recovering the text of the Hebrew Bible by McCarter. Uh, let's see, textual criticism of the Hebrew Bible by Emmanuel Tove. So both Eric Raymond, and this textbook are both pulling from criticism of the Hebrew Bible by Emmanuel Tove.
Emmanuel Poe.
Oh yeah, Tove. He's a huge name when it comes to Hebrew and Bible studies, biblical studies. Um, anyway,
Is this
so
like D material, Jared? Is this like D and E and material that
no,
you're showing us?
no, it's
It's
probably
higher.
yeah,
It's
it's probably
higher.
but see what maybe you've noticed that my teaching method, maybe I don't do a very good job of it, but I want my teaching method to ultimately be, how can I take what all the other curricula call this super complicated material and bring it down to somebody who doesn't understand all that stuff yet, but still learn it in a way that it becomes useful. I would absolutely love it if I could teach a level A or B student to know when to expect a schwa or a kamatz.
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Instead of always being confused, why does it magically change from one vowel to another? I was the same way when I was learning biblical Hebrew. It was frustrating. Wait, it was a kamat a
Peggy,
second
Peggy,
ago.
Peggy racks her brains about that a lot. She wonders about the vowels a lot, and that's made me pay more attention to them
Oh yeah.
and wonder why more myself.
Well, see, there are actually two schools of thought. Well, I guess there are three schools of thought. One of them, the one that I prefer, is get into the details and try to figure it out. That's hard. Another school of thought says, well, modern Hebrew doesn't use vowels anyway, so just learn the words without the vowels. You're like, dang, that's hard too. And the third camp simply says something like, well, I don't want to really get into it, or I don't know. So I want you just to memorize all the different forms. Sometimes it's a shva, sometimes it's a kamat, sometimes it's just
Mhm.
memorize them all. And
Nope.
I find that daunting. So all three methods are daunting. The question is, which poison do you want to pick? Which of them is the best for your learning style? Some people, they don't want to get into the weeds. And they'll say, "Fine, I'll just memorize it," or "Fine, I'll just go to Israel and learn how to speak the language without vowels." And then there are other people who are super analytical and technical. They're like, "Ooh, details." Anyway, so that was a huge rabbit trail. Any comments or questions
Be-
on that before we get away
Yeah,
from?
before we move any for move forward any further, I want to say that you're doing a great job and you are succeeding with what you set out to do, at least with me.
Oh, thank you.
Um, but it is a process, and I just looked through every strong and weak verb
Wow.
possibility in the 2FS um, call
Okay.
category. I could not find um, this word, this unique word for I have graven. But
Okay.
when you combine it with the palms of my hands, this only appears a handful of times, and it's used by Isaiah a handful of times, Ezekiel twice. It appears in Job once and Judges once, which is the Song of Deborah. He's speaking through time here. That's why it's so unique. This is this is one of the most unique um, combinations of words I've ever seen because this touches on a multitude of concepts beginning in Genesis because he's talking about the walls of Babylon and the engraving that Job refers to in Job 19:22. I mean, this is phenomenal. This I mean, this is phenomenal.
It
This is Ezekiel
seems really,
4:1.
yeah, it seems
Jim,
really
you're a pure
personal.
nerd. You really are. You're a wonderful nerdy guy.
Cheryl, this is amazing. This is amazing. This connects Psalm 22 to the Song of Deborah, the Song of Moses, Job 19:22 through 29. I mean, this is huge. This is huge. You're right. I am a Bible nerd, I guess, but
Well, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
okay. And one more thing. You were you recommending Intermediate Hebrew by Karl Putz and
No,
Josberger?
okay, hang on. There are two different books I was talking about. So Kutz and Josbergo is actually it's called Learning Biblical Hebrew, and I do recommend it, especially for levels, I guess, A through C. Okay, so everything from basic Hebrew to binyanim to irregular verbs. Yeah, it's a great text. It's a great textbook, and it also has a workbook that goes with it. Um, the other one is by Eric Raymond. It is very well. It calls it intermediate, but it's a lot higher than this textbook is, and it's called Intermediate Biblical Hebrew by Eric D. Raymond. That one I wouldn't necessarily recommend except to look, I would recommend it to any. You know what? I do. I recommend that one too. In fact,
Okay.
you can find. I was able to find it online for free, so I hope
How do you do that?
I have ways. Um, Let's see.
And then Emmanuel Tove's, that's criticism of biblical Hebrew? Criticisms of? Is that
Wow,
what that?
my gosh. Emmanuel Tove has written so much.
Okay, yeah.
You're going to find so much. He's into Septuagint studies. He's into interpretation,
Mhm.
morphology. I mean, just the works. He's
How do you spell his last name?
Tov, Tove.
Good.
Good, exactly. Hey, here in the geminate, meaning second and third root letters are the same, of Hifil, it shows up with that connecting O vowel. Hasivota, hasivot, hasivoti, hasivotem, so on and so forth.
Okay, because I was only
Showing up
looking
in
at
the yeah, showing
also.
up in the kal binyan, that's a little bit different. And I actually don't think we should expect an O vowel in the kal binyan. Let's see, where are we? Strong, geminate. Oh, here we go. Geminate kal. Let me look in both of these. This one, oh yeah, look, there it is. Geminate kal has sabota, sabot, saboti, botem. So that one has it. But then in the stative kal, that's where you get the, oh no, you get it too. Kalota, kalot, kaloti, klotem. No, that's kalotem. That one doesn't reduce because it's in a closed syllable. Kalotem. So you're right. It does show up in geminate kal and geminate he-feel forms. Okay, well then the next question is, does it show up in the hollow ones? Two, where is it? Feel like I'm looking right. Okay, here we go. Vav in the he feel. Oh, that's kal. I don't want that. I'm looking for one vav. No, that's one vav. I want two vav, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm having so much trouble here. Two vav. Oh, here it is. Hollow. There we go. So hollow in the kal, 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 hollow. He field. Found it. There it is. Hakimota, hakimot, hakimoti. Those are where you find the O vowel, the O connecting vowels
Wow.
that nobody else in the world uses, just Hebrew. All right, let's see. How are we doing on? We have
Question,
15.
what was
Yes,
how do you spell the last name of the intermediate Hebrew author?
it's spelled weird. Eric D. I'm blanking.
Raymond.
Ray.
Raymond?
Okay. Ray. I think it was it with a U, I think?
Raymond.
Actually, you know what? I have the text open right here. Let me go to the front and look at his name.
Oh,
Oh, Raymond.
R-E-Y, though.
R-E-Y instead of A. Exactly.
Instead of everybody loves Raymond.
Yeah. But intermediate biblical Hebrew grammar. So see, I got that wrong too. But let me show you, if you don't mind, I hope Eric doesn't mind. Let me show you the contents of the book. Here we go. Okay, so you know how the classic grammars are split up into sounds and then morphology and then syntax? Well, he's going to do something similar here. After the acknowledgments and abbreviations and whatnot, he gets into biblical Hebrew in general. So that's the basic, as big as you can get. Then he gets into phonology, which is the consonants. Then he gets into the vowels, the phonology of the vowels. And you get to see things like, how certain letters represented more than one sound, or maybe what letters originally sounded like, or why did Begad Kefat become its own thing. Then it gets into the vowels. The Tiberian refers to the Masoretic text. the development of individual vowels. You get fun stuff like pausal forms or compensatory lengthening, or how triphthongs and diphthongs simplify down, the losing of the tav in the feminine singular, something called Philippi's law. There's also should be Canaanite shift. Do you see the Canaanite shift?
Yeah, 3.9.
Okay,
Page.
Canaanite shift where ah vowels become o. There's also vowel reduction. And then it gets into the morphology, which is where I was actually hooked to begin with, where you get the original hypothesized, but original bases or patterns and what their meanings are, how those vowels change in the pattern depending on what happens with the irregular stuff when there's vowels and yods or geminates, and then it goes into the verbs as well. So here's all your let's see, terms concept. So I guess these would be all your non-call stuff, and then weak roots down here. And then you get an amazing chart at the end. I just, if it's okay with you all, I would love to show you like this chart right here. It's a long chart, but I'll just show you part of it. And then of course it has lots of appendices, um, producing nominal forms, and I don't know. I'm floored by this kind of stuff. Ancient, oh, bibliography. There you go. Where was the bibliography? Right. Okay, bibliography, ancient source and authors and word. Okay, may I show you all an example from page 217?
Yes, please
Cool.
do.
Yeah. Please.
Okay, don't look at it if you have epilepsy.
Yeah. Hey, Tim, that was a compliment calling you a nerd, by the way.
I took it as a compliment. Thank
Yeah.
you. Hey,
I think this is it here. Chart of nouns and verbs. Yep. And the first part I don't think is lots of fun. Wait, is it? Oh, biconsonantal bases, and it just shows you like all the various forms and what it originally was. So by writing kal like this, it's telling us that it had an original first consonant and then a short vowel and then a lamed. If it were long, if the vowel were long, it would have a line over it like that. So even though in the absolute form dam is long, yet in the construct form, it preserves the original short vowel. And let's see.
Dummy. Dummy.
Let's see. This is shanim, shnotai, Okay, so they're looking at or he's looking at these words as the so-called bi-radical or bi-consonantal. There never was any other third root letter, which I'm still on I don't know. I'm still on the fence about that, but I understand where he's coming from. And then the notes are usually excellent as well. He'll give you more examples, even though not in full detail. Um, and then like for example, look at look at these examples right here. You know, he gives you dag, ama, achot. He's taking more biconsonantal roots and showing you more examples of them. Bases with short vowels, yad or kam. Here it's in all of the forms, but that's not the good stuff I wanted to show you. I want to get to ooh, what's this one? This is a long vowel, isn't it?
Ew.
Ooh, okay. So here we have the form kilat, showing an original long vowel, or kul with an original long vowel, meaning it's not going to ever disappear. And here it doesn't. And
Original long vowel.
well, right, original long vowel. And then again, here you get more examples. Hol, ish, ir, rik, shit. Bina is the feminine of kilat. Ur, kum, ruach. Hang on a second. I would have actually done something different with that. Okay, well, he's the expert, right? Geminates.
Ugh.
Where's the table that I wanted? Oh, producing. There we go. Maybe it was this one I wanted to show you. Yeah, I think this was it. Yafim, Tov, Tova, Tovot, Tovi,
Oh, interesting.
is, Enu. See, there's a lot of pronominal suffixes, and I want to get past those. Ooh, there you go. Verbal forms. 3FS, 3MS. All right, evidently I missed it. Dang it. But I will literally just read this at nighttime, and
Can you throw it up on the?
I will stay up for 2 or 3 hours reading it into the night. And I'm just
No,
like,
you need your rest.
I
You need
know,
your
right?
rest.
Eesh. Anyway, speaking of needing rest, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut 5 minutes short. I hope you all don't mind. Do you have any closing thoughts, comments, questions?
Well, thank you for those resources too, Jared.
I find them fascinating, and if I do, then I want you guys to know about them. What you do with it after that is up to you. All right. Look forward to seeing you all next week. What's the next week's reading? It's not today was Eqev. Next week is what do you guys use to know what the next Torah portion is?
I use a Hamash.
Okay. Yeah, I'm using a Chumash as well.
Humash, not Hamash.
Chumash. Chamesh is number 5. Chumash means something divided into fifths.
Well, it looks like it
Haftarah
is
Surah.
Isaiah 54, 11 to 55, 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
A is the Torah portion, and the Haftarah is Isaiah
5, 4
4.
to 55, 5. We
Uh,
skipped 53. You
I
know.
wonder why.
Yep.
The forbidden chapter makes me want to
I'll
have.
volunteer.
Yeah, right. I'd rather.
I'll,
I w- let's go ahead and just do Isaiah 55 anyway.
53?
Isaiah 53.
Do you want to do that next
I'm game.
week?
It's not a forbidden chapter to me.
yeah, I
Nor
love it.
I.
The only problem is that we're going to have to come back around and do the A later on.
Uh-huh.
Y'all are like,
Well,
oops.
I mean, not just because I asked, people have to agree.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure most everyone would love to do that. And all those not in favor,
Speak up
approving
now.
Isaiah 53. Up, no one said
Give a
anything.
thumbs up. Somebody put a thumbs up here.
Yeah, it was
So-
Hebrew
Nader.
for Persians. Wow.
Yeah,
Look
Nader
at
wants to
that.
do it. Annie, you probably give a thumbs up if you want to, but Annie, do you want
Peggy
to
Wood.
Annie, do you want to read Isaiah 53 next week?
Yeah,
Instead
yeah.
of- Okay. All right. So does Tuesday. All right. Well, that kind of settles it then. Guess we'll
Very
be
Yes,
reading
thumbs
Isaiah
up from me too.
53. Okay.
Yep. Everybody get your
That's all we can get into.
thumbs up there.
Hey, just to be clear though, I understand why I understand the reason for the enthusiasm because it's, pointing to Yeshua. That's great.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Do you all want to get into the stuff that I don't know that I'm my expertise is in trying to understand what's going on in the Hebrew. So are we going to spend all next week talking about interpretation of Isaiah 53, or do you want to
No, we're going to do grammar.
No.
We'll do
Okay.
grammar.
I'm
We
I'm
know we
I'm
have our own interpretations. We didn't come to, well, I
right.
didn't come to, at least for me, to the e-teacher for everybody's interpretation. I came to learn the Hebrew so I can figure it out for myself.
Right. I wonder how many other people have a story like that. I know mine is. When I went to Israel, I actually put nearly, not totally, but nearly put everything I know about New Testament to the side. Forgive me. And I said, you know what? I want to understand as much as I can. I understand that that Israel is not interested in Yeshua. They see Yeshua as either being a Hitler or a Mickey Mouse.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That makes me sad, but as soon as you open up your mouth to talk about Yeshua,
They say, you
they
mean
have one or the other.
Yeshu.
Well, that's the thing. If you say Yeshua, most people will think you're talking about Rabbi Yoshua, which
Mhm.
is a rabbinic rabbi in the Talmud or something like that. There are plenty of Yeshuas in the Bible and in rabbinic writings, but yes, in general, Israel calls him Yeshu.
which is
Or, well, there are actually two different ways of interpreting that.
okay.
The first one is, I want to say yeah, let's just call it derogatory, where it's an acronym for Yimach Shemo.
Mhm.
Yimach means to erase or wipe away Shemo, his name. May his name be wiped out.
Mhm.
Obviously, I don't buy into that, but
not.
Yimach Shemo is mentioned in the Talmud. But I wonder if there's actually a more original reason for calling him Yeshu, and it's because it's the Judeans that put the furtive patach, Yeshua, whereas the Galileans did not. So there's a very good chance that Yeshua's own disciples called him Yeshu, which is Yeshu. And then, of course, they would have jumped on that name and turned it into, oh, that sounds like Yima. Yeah. So anyway, that's just offering a little bit more explanation.
So
Mhm.
Cheryl, in order for you to make a viable assessment, we
Mhm.
actually have to, before we start the recording next week, we have to do a setup. So we have to look at the manuscript breaks in 52 to
Yes,
understand
yeah, it
why
starts there.
53 is set apart.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, we don't get we don't get past a few verses when we're pulling grammar apart usually, but just for the reading of it, I like to read it in English as I've understood it first, and then I like to go to the Hebrew. This is just the way I like to do it, and then go to the Hebrew, I see the contrasts between the English and the Hebrew, and
If there's
I wouldn't have translated it that way. Think to myself. And then, then you get into the grammar. Then I'm not spiritual anymore. I'm
right,
dissecting now.
right,
Well,
it's easy to overlook the spiritual aspect when your head is grammar
absolutely.
world, and
Absolutely.
vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in spiritual world, you don't really see the grammar stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to say, if there's any part of Isaiah 53 that you all want to jump to directly, because we don't usually get through that many verses at a time, let me know and we'll just jump straight to it.
Okay.
Maybe.
That's what I was actually thinking about the one we did today, because the good stuff is later on in
Yeah,
Isaiah 49:50.
sorry.
That's okay. No.
Hey, that
There it
last
is.
verse we did was that was a
Yeah.
home run.
All right, cool. All right, well, let's go ahead and pack it up. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Lehitraot, v'shalom.
Thank you so much.
I know.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye.